This review will also be part of the classical review series. Good morning, everybody. We're going to continue the week of reviews with another Hanson review. This time we're going to review their String Theory album, which came out on November 9th of 2018, released by their own record label 3CG Records. This was their 7th album and their first double album and their first fully symphonic album. It was recorded with the Prague Symphony Orchestra, and it is somewhat of a concept record in that the some of the songs melt into one another. And actually, I was watching kind of an interview that Hanson gave around the time String Theory came out, and they said it was, the album kind of tells a story, and so that's why I said it was somewhat of a concept record, that and the fact that some of the songs melt into one another. I have several favorites on this record. Among them, the first and second parts of the song "Reach for the Sky," which opens both discs of the record, disc 1 and 2, and "Joyful Noise," and a song that originally appeared in a rock format on Anthem called "Tragic Symphony," which I was not too surprised that Tragic Symphony made it onto String Theory, because it kind of, just the name alone lends the song to a symphonic arrangement. And some of these songs, along with the newer songs on String Theory, appeared on previous Hanson records in rock arrangements. Among those, "Where's the Love" appeared on "Middle of Nowhere," of course. And this version of "Where's the Love" is somewhat different. It rocks a lot harder than the original version on "Middle of Nowhere," and I think the symphony, the orchestral arrangement, really adds something to the song. It really adds a lot to the song. And another one of the songs that kind of lends itself to a symphonic arrangement is "Yearbook," which is from "Middle of Nowhere." And although the original version of "Yearbook" from "Middle of Nowhere" had some symphonic elements to it, this one is fantastic, and I just love it. And another song that I liked that is kind of drastically different from the original version is the symphonic version of "MMMBop." The symphonic version of "MMMBop" leans more toward to some of the acoustic versions that they've done in concert in the past couple of years, because they, especially around the release of underneath they were doing the Underneath acoustic tour, and of course they did Bop acoustically, and I think this version of Bop kind of leans more toward the acoustic versions rather than the electric versions, and you know it is just very well done. But one of the songs that I wanted to mention is a song called Breaktown, which, as you recall, was featured on the soundtrack to Strong Enough to Break, the documentary on the making of Underneath, as a song that was supposed to go on Underneath but didn't make it to the record. But it was featured in an acoustic on the soundtrack record to Strong Enough to Break. So I was kind of really excited to finally get kind of a fleshed out official release of the song, and it is gorgeous. But like I said, my favorites from the record are Joyful Noise and Tragic Symphony, and the both versions of Reach for the Sky. One of the songs from Anthem that did not change too much in the arrangement was a song called I think Battle Cry is the name of that song, and it didn't change too much from the anthem arrangement, and neither did another one of my favorites from Anthem called Tonight. And but one of the things that I'd like to mention is that when rock bands play with the symphonies, that sometimes the symphonic arrangements kind of overpower the band that they're playing with. But this is not the case for Hanson String Theory record. They really kind of add something to the band, and they kind of enhance the rock arrangements very well. And as a matter of fact, shortly after the release of the record, Hanson went on tour. Hanson went out on tour in support of String Theory, and what they did was they, at each tour stop, they played with I guess the local orchestras. So they didn't tour with the Prague Symphony Orchestra. In other words, they didn't have one symphony orchestra for the whole tour. They played with each town's local symphony, which I think is a cool idea, which is something that I think other bands had done too. And so I hope you really enjoy this.